Hare Krishna. So we'll start eighth chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Title of the chapter is Prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit Maharaj saved. So actually in the previous chapter, if you see Shavanaka Rishi started saying about how in the sixth chapter how he discussed about conversation between in fifth and sixth chapters, conversation between Narada Muni and Vyasadeva. And later on, he directly comes into how Ashwadama, son of Drona, how he was punished. Mm, because he actually kills all the Upapandavas. Upapandavas are sons of Draupadi, and he was punished. And a nice conversation takes place between uh, Arjuna and Draupadi and Yudhishthir and Bhima and Krishna. So actually, Arjuna, Draupadi, even though she was grief-stricken at the death of her sons, when Arjuna brought Ashwatthama, imprisoned or like bounded, she actually made him unbounded him or let him loose, and then she requested Pandavas to forgive him and let him go because he is a son of their spiritual, their not spiritual master, their, yeah, you can say spiritual master also in one sense. So their teacher, their master, and then it is by his grace only that you all got so much of knowledge and you are able, you become good fighters, and we should not kill his son. Why he told that? Because she doesn't want the wife of Dronacharya or mother of Ashwatthama to actually have loss of her son just like her. Mm. So thinking about her, Draupadi, she wanted to let Ashwadhama to be not killed, and but Bhima was very furious about this. No, he killed our five sons who are sleeping and who are who doesn't harm anybody and who are just, and they are not conscious also. And actually, as per the scriptures, one should not kill a sleeping person. Mm. But it is the arrangement of the providence that the Ashwatthama has to happen to kill the sons of the Draupadi also. Actually, they were given a benediction that they will not get, uh, they will not stay in the material for a long time. They were cursed, and they have to become the sons of Draupadi. And they actually, after their this incident, they actually resumed back their position as, I think, Gandharvas or Devatas. I don't know who are they. So somebody like that. And all the other kings who are in the camp of Pandavas are killed by Ashwatthama, Krupacharya, and one more warrior. Okay, so that way everybody was grief stricken at the end of that no that episode, and Ashwatthama was forgiven and he was let loose. What did Arjuna do as a punishment? He actually shaved the head of Ashwatthama, half shaved, and then he took off the money. He took off the jewel on on the forehead of Ashwatthama, which actually giving lot of strength to him. Mm. So after that, what happens? It is actually said that no, why Suta Goswami directly after explaining the conversation between Narada and Vyasa, he directly jumped here. Is he actually wanted to uh, give a background of what is the significance or how Parikshit Maharaj happened to appearance of Parikshit Maharaj, or how Parikshit Maharaj is saved by the Lord. Mm. Just to explain that, Suta Goswami started telling this pastime about how Ashwadama tried to kill Parikshit Maharaj. Okay, so when uh, Ashwatthama was let loose and was sent off by the Arjuna, he actually went out, and then he actually, some kind of he was still with the revengeful attitude. Mm. Actually, a Brahmana should not have this kind of vengeance. Actually, it is said that a Brahmana should not be killed. But if you see the history, there are many instances when a Brahmana was not killed and was just sent out, but still that Brahmanas, they actually did a lot of things. Even the history also, there are some Hindu ruler like she doesn't want to kill a Brahmana and he just sent off. No, it was that Brahmana was his family priest, and there come a occasion between some conflict between the queen and the Brahmana, and Brahmana found to be culprit, and then he was sent out. No, and then that Brahmana actually he actually goes to the enemy kingdom and then tells all the secrets about uh, the king and then make the kingdom fall down. Now this, like the Brahmanas are kind of, when they want to take revenge, like they will be very much of, like, even though they don't have physical strength, they have the intelligence. Okay, so here also Ashwadhama was let loose by the, or sent away freely, with his life. But still Ashwadhama was not pacified. Ashwadhama was not repenting. He was thinking that what I did was correct. Even though Arjuna forgave him and Draupadi forgave him, uh, but still he was not. His anger towards the Pandavas did not went down. So meanwhile, in the Pandavas camp, what happened after this episode? After punishing Vashatama, the queens of Dwaraka, queens of Hastinapur, including Draupadi, Gandhari, they all went to take bath in Ganges river, and they offered oblations for their dead relatives, and then they they sat down, like grieving over their lost relatives, and Krishna and other sages also pacified them. And and during when after this happened, then Krishna established Yudhishthir Maharaj, and after everything is taken care, Krishna established Yudhishthir Maharaj as a king of the Bharatavarsha, the earthly king. And then Krishna started for Dwaraka, because he came for Kurukshetra war, and then from Kurukshetra war onwards he has been staying here. So and he Krishna made Yudhishthir Maharaj perform three Ashwamedha Yagyas, and then after that, and when he was about to start for Dwaraka, Uttara, the son of Uttara, the wife of Abhimanyu, and the mother of uh, Parikshit Maharaj. mm, Actually, she was like when Kurukshetra war ended, and when all these incidents were happening, Uttara was carrying Parikshit Maharaj in her womb. She was pregnant. So, and what happened? When the Ashwatthama was sent out, he actually, wanted to take revenge, and he wanted to end the lineage of Pandavas. So what he did, he actually threw a Brahmastra at the womb of Uttara, to kill Parikshit Maharaj. So, and but Uttara was able to see that some energy was coming to kill her womb. So at that time, the Krishna was preparing to leave for Dwaraka. At that time, like all the Pandavas and all the eminent warriors of that at that point of time were with them. Mm. And Uttara did not approach any of them. Uttara did not go for Arjuna or Bhima or anybody, or Yudhishthir who was the king, but he directly went to Krishna and started praying her. The nice shloka is there. Pahi pahi mahayogin deva deva jagatpate nayam to abhayam pashe yatra mrityu para parasparam. She says, O Lord of Lords, Lord of the universe, greatest of the world, greatest of the mystics, mm, In this world, no one except you can protect me from the clutches of death. Uttara was able to sense that something is going to happen to her baby in her womb. So, and she came running after. She fully surrendered to Krishna, and she took. She asked for protection from Krishna. Mm. And Krishna understood that Ashwatthama has threw the Brahmastra towards the womb of Uttara. Mm. And hearing this, seeing Uttara so fearful, all the Pandavas took their weapons, but they cannot fight because enemy is not seen. Mm. So Brahmastra is such a weapon, like it will destroy whatever is precisely it is targeted for. It is not like Prabhupada compares Brahmastra to modern day atom bombs, but atom bomb is like no, if you want to destroy one house, it will destroy entire city. It's not like that. Brahmastra is precise. No, it is said that Brahmastra, if somebody targets Brahmastra and uh, directs Brahmastra to like no, there is one nice pastime in Ramayana also. Like in Ramayana, what happens? The Devatas wants to see how to instigate anger in Lord Ram. Mm. So actually, so they arranged everything. No, like how uh, Kaikeyi, like with taking by who takes the advice of Mandra. Actually, the mantra was fully under the control of Devatas, okay? And the mantra spoke whatever Devatas wanted to speak. They wanted to banish Lord Ram, and they wanted to create a problem in the family of Dashrath Maharaj. So, mantra was only the instrument of the Devatas, okay? And they instigated Lord Ram, like they wanted to provoke Lord Ram. Let us see when did, like, in order to kill Ravana, Lord Ram has to become so furious, and unless Lord Ram becomes furious, then this Ravana cannot be killed. So they wanted to try how in different ways. So they actually, the next day is Lord Ram's mm, what is called coronation, and the same night only all these things happens. And early in the morning, Lord Ram was banished, asked to leave the kingdom, and Lord Ram was very peaceful and very he didn't take any, he didn't get agitated. He was a little sad, but he didn't get agitated. And even though uh, and different incidents happened. He was s- like he was with Mother Sita and Lakshman, and in the forest, and still Lord Ram was peaceful with whatever is happening, and he was tolerate. He was going through the life situations. So one day, what happened? Like the Devatas wanted to test like how to disturb Lord Ram. So what they do? They called one of the son of Indra. His name is Kakasur. So they actually tell him, you when you go and disturb Mother Sita when she is with Lord Ram. So one time what happened? Lord Ram and Sita were in uh, underneath a tree, and Lord Ram was taking rest in the lap of Mother Sita, and Mother Sita was fanning Lord Ram. At that point of time, this Kakasur comes and started hurting Mother Sita. Mm. And at that point of time, like Mother Sita was tolerating this because she doesn't want to disturb Lord Ram. So, but Lord Ram, by somehow he wakes up, he opens his eyes and sees that this Kakasur, means the Kakasur took a form of crow, and this crow is actually hurting Mother Sita. And immediately Lord Ram becomes so furious, and then he immediately took a blade of grass and he invoked Brahmastra on the blade of grass and threw at the Kakasur. And this Kakasur went all over the three walls to get protection from that uh, Brahmastra, but it was not able to find any protection, and finally comes to Lord Ram and surrenders. And Lord Ram says, "Okay, I forgive you, but I threw my Brahmastra, but yes, it has to be directed to somewhere. what do you want to give it for it? Then Kakasur says, I can give the vision of my left eye. So then Lord Ram says, so be it. And that Brahmastra comes and destroys the vision of the left eye of Kakasur. Vision, only vision, not eye also. So such a precise calculation that Brahmastra can be directed at. So when Parikshit threw this Brahmastra at the womb of Mother Uttara, so it is coming directly to kill the baby in the womb of Mother Uttara. So and Uttara was praying to Lord Krishna, if this whatever it is, no, the she says that she doesn't know it is Brahmastra. She says that one sharp arrow is coming to kill me. Let it kill me, but let it not destroy my womb. Let it not hurt, or let it not destroy the embryo in my womb. She prays to Krishna, and Krishna, in order to protect her, Krishna is within the heart of every living. Krishna is in the heart of every living being. So from the heart of Uttara, he goes to womb, and then he covers the womb of Uttara with his potency and neutralizes the Brahmastra. Prabhupada writes that this Brahmastra cannot be counteracted by any person, but a Lord can do anything. There is nothing impossible for the Lord. So Lord protects Parikshit Maharaj from Brahmastra, and it is said that no, that Brahmastra already killed Parikshit Maharaj, and Lord revives Parikshit Maharaj. Means even though the body was so much burned, still Parikshit Maharaj was not dead. So he was a Dhira. He was able to tolerate so much suffering, even in the womb also. Hmm? So Lord revived that the Parikshit Maharaj in the womb, and there Parikshit Maharaj had the darshan of Lord Krishna in the womb of Mother Uttara. Hmm? So that's why it is said that when Parikshit Maharaj took birth, he was given the name Vishnu Vishnurat, but he has seen Lord Krishna in the womb. So after coming out, he started looking where is the person whom I saw in the womb, and he started everybody examining closely. Now when he sees a new person, he started examining, is it the person that I have seen in the womb of my mother? And he was trying to see the similarity, and then he will decide, okay, he's not the person. So he was examining everybody. So that's why he was doing parikshan. Okay, so that's why the name Parikshit came to him. So, but actually his name is Vishnu Ratha. So, so Krishna saves Parikshit Maharaj from in the womb of Uttara. Okay, and then uh, like she ensured that everybody is safe, and then she proceed to leave for Dwarka. So he entered into the palace of Hastinapur, where Yudhishthira Maharaj is residing. Okay, so before that, there was Kunti Maharani also, who was there with Uttara. Okay, and she actually sees the entire episode, how Lord Krishna saved uh, the only uh, mm, lineage, the saved the lineage of the Pandavas, or the only heir for the kingdom. Okay, so and Kunti Maharani offers a beautiful prayers from text number 18 to 20, 18 to 40, I think. Yeah, 18 to 43. Okay. So she says, Kunti Maharani says, no, she says Kunti Maharani first, she recognized that she says to Krishna that you are not my nephew. Actually, you are the original supreme person. And the prayers of Kunti Maharani are very famous. Prabhupada actually recommends everybody should no, know these prayers of Kunti Maharani. Actually, it is Maharaj says in the history of the mankind, only person who prayed for struggles, no, is Kunti Maharani. So the first verse he says, Namaste Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakriti Param Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bahir Avasthitam. So she says the supreme original person, the controller beyond the material nature, invisible to all the jivas, though existing inside and outside. Mm. So he says, like, you are not my nephew, you are the supreme personality of Godhead, even though you are present inside and outside. Like inside he is present as Paramatma, and outside he is present as Krishna, or in the form of a deity. mm. But he, unless one is properly educated by the, or unless one have the mercy of other devotees, or mercy of the Guru, one will not be able to see Krishna. Mm. So she also gives, she says how Krishna is covered. Okay, Maya Javani Kachanam Agnadokshajamavyayam Nalakshase Muda Drisha Nato Natyadaro Yata. She says, like, you are covered by the curtain of Maya. Even Krishna is residing within the heart and outside also. Krishna is covered by the curtain of Maya for the non-devotees or atheists. Okay, and and Krishna is beyond the sense perception and unaffected and invisible for the foolish observers. Okay, and she takes humble position in front of Krishna. She is like a son of, like, no, like a Krishna and Arjuna are of equal age, right? So then Kunti Maharani says, no, like, you are, even the great learned persons, great philosophers and sages have having difficulty to finding you out, or understanding you. What about the person, like, what about like a woman like me? In those days, women are given low priority, right? So he says, like, and but for the pure devotees, like, like, pure devotees of you, like Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, or Mother, or Devaki and Vasudev. They are very fortunate because you appeared in their family. Okay, in, like, even though she is a relative, but she is glorifying them because they are more closely related to Krishna. Okay, and she also says that I am also fortunate to be in, like, for your reciprocation, because Krishna reciprocated with Kunti Maharani in many ways. And it is said that Krishna saved the Pandavas in many ways. From the, if you see from the beginning, like, in the beginning he was saved by, they were saved by in uh, the, like, Krishna gave them personal protection. hmm, like, from from the battle, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, or if you see here in the case of Parikshit Maharaj also. And then protection by his representatives, like, in the case of, like, once Duryodhana tried to kill them by, in the Laksha Gruha, okay, and the house of lack. So there, Krishna protected them by his relatives, or his representatives, like Vidra, because upon the Vidra's instruction only, that Pandavas managed to dig a tunnel. Okay, and then Krishna gave protection to Draupadi through his omnipotence. Okay, so because Draupadi called for Krishna, and Krishna actually, even though he was in Dwaraka, he heard her, and then he gave her unlimited sari and protected, mm, from being insulted in the assembly. And then Krishna gave protection by scriptures, okay, by teaching Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Because if Arjuna was not there, then definitely Pandavas will be losing the Kurukshetra war. So Krishna protected all the Pandavas by giving the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Okay, and then Krishna gave protection by empowerment also. Okay, like in many cases there are like instances where Bhima has to fight with many demonic persons like Hidimba, Jarasandha, like that. Krishna empowered Bhima so that he would be able to kill the his opponents. Okay, and then Krishna also protected them by the effect of time, by creating various circumstances, mm, in the Kurukshetra battle also. And also Krishna also protected by the effect of time. So for one to have the to be protected from the influence of time, one has to take the shelter of Lord Krishna. Okay, you are following, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So Kunti Maharani was recalling all these things. Okay. Mm. And then Kunti Maharani was like, she's the aunt of Mother Krishna, and she was praying, and then she glorifies Krishna, and he to his no, like she offers prayers, no, with Devaki and Vasudev, in relation to Devaki and Vasudev, because she's related to Vasudev, right? She is the sister of Vasudev. So she says, no, Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So Kunti Maharani glorifies the position of Vasudev, Devaki, and Nanda Maharaj and Nanda Gopa Kumaraya. So Nanda Maharaj and Gopikas and Mother Yashoda. So like that is the, they are the very fortunate souls because you are within their family. Okay, and also while she was offering the prayers, like it is said that when we take darshan of deities, we should start from the lotus feet, right? Or when we are describing the glories of the Lord, we generally start from the lotus feet of Krishna. But here, Kunti Maharani, because she was the aunt of Krishna, she's elder to Krishna in age, materially, and she actually glorifies Krishna from uh, like so through this verse, Namah Pankajanaಭaya, Namah Pankajamaline, Namah Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangraye. So she says the how like Krishna has the navel like a lotus, and Krishna's eyes are like lotus, and then like that. Okay, and Krishna's feet are like lotus. Okay, and Krishna, and she also then she lists all the, she mentions all the different ways how Krishna protected them. And then like how Krishna protected us from a poisoned cake, lack of fire, cannibals, gambling match, and during their exile, and then she after that you actually came for our rescue during our uh, difficult times. So if we have to get your darshan only because of our difficulties, let those all difficulties come into our life again and again, so that we can be able to see you again and again. So Krishna, so she says that vipadasyantu tashyasva tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatsyat apunarbhava darshanam, means seeing Krishna, like even if they are if they have to go undergo a lot of sufferings, if they will be able to see Krishna, then that would be a greatest pleasure for them. And then she says how like what are the qualities one should have to approach Krishna. So like she says there are four things: Janmaishwarya Sruta Shri Bir Eda Mana Mad Appuman Naivar Naivarhati Abhayatum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. So a man with pride of high birth, opulence, education, and physical beauty, if he is proud of any of these, then he will not be able to take shelter of Krishna uh, fully. He is thinking that I am eligible, or I'm qualified. Mm. If you think that if you think by any means that we have the qualification or we are eligible for Krishna's mercy, or then we will not be able to take shelter of Krishna in a proper manner. So, and Krishna, actually it is said that he is the Akinchana Vitta, means Kunti Maharani says, नमो किंचन वित्ताय निवृत्ता गुणवृत्तये आत्मा रामाय शांताय कैवल्य पतये नमः. So Krishna say, Kunti Maharani is saying, Krishna is the property of akinchana, means unallied devotees or materially impoverished. Okay, and devotees do not have the wealth of arising from the material modes, but they have the Lord. Okay, like someone who is a devotee and who is materially or who is not on a platform of false ego. No? It is said that if you don't have anything, then you take shelter of Krishna, then we have everything. So if you have everything but you don't have the shelter of Krishna, you have nothing, because that is on the only level of false ego, that I have. It is only time that it is only for some time that we will be having our material positions. After that, everything in this material world, whatever we are related to, are gone. So only thing that protects us from all the difficulties or everything is the shelter of Krishna. So she also says, your Kala, your your Kala or eternal time, the supreme controller without beginning and end, all pervasive and equal to all. Okay. And Krishna glorifies about the birth and activities of Krishna also. Okay, Janma, he says you are unborn, inactive, and you take birth and perform activities in the form of animals, men, and activities. This is very bewildering. Because and also she says about, even like even though you are the supreme personality of Godhead, even though you are unborn, but still you take the different forms. Sometimes as a fish, sometimes as a boar, sometimes as a human, sometimes as a so, and then perform the activities. And also she says, like when Mother Yashoda was binding you to the grinding motor, you are so afraid that even the fear personified was, even though fear personified was fearful of you, you displayed so much fear in that situation where, when your mother was binding you to the grinding motor. She glorifies that. Okay, and she says, what is the real reason for Krishna's appearance? Why Krishna takes these incarnations? So it is said according to scriptures that to rejuvenate the process of sh- Shravana, Smarana, and Arhana, so that the conditioned souls might be freed from the pangs of mental existence. Okay, so Krishna comes into in different incarnations and performs these leelas or pastimes only because, so that the conditioned soul, by hearing them and by remembering them, or by meditating on those leelas, the conditioned souls may get liberated from the pangs of material existence. That is the easiest and most effective way of getting liberated from this material existence. So just to, in order to give that facility for the pure anala devotees, no, or no, pavitranaya sadhana vinashaya cha duskritam. Pavitranaya sadhana means protecting his devotees. How does Krishna protects his devotees? He not only protects them like personally in the case of like when he comes as Lord Ram, he killed Ravana. But when he case of when he comes as Krishna, he killed many demonic people, and also made Arjuna kill many demonic kings in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So that is one kind of protection. Another kind of protection is through his pastimes, like when Krishna performs sweet pastimes, and when the devotees meditate on them, their mind gets instantly purified, and they are instantly kept on the spiritual platform or in the pastimes of Krishna. So when we hear these pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam or pastimes in Krishna book or any of the any pastimes of Krishna like Damodar Lila, we have to involve ourselves. We have to put ourselves in that pastime and experience that pastime, and we have to glorify Krishna. We have to teach to others also. We have to, no, we can meditate on Krishna how the pastime happened like that. So that's why it is said that one of the qualification of the devotees, they are kavi, means they actually uh, they can glorify Krishna in many ways. Okay. So Kunti Maharani is glorifying this real reason why Krishna has to come into this material existence. Okay. And how the devotees how the devotees take advantage of the in the process of bhakti is Srinvanti Gayanti Grunanta Bhikshaja Smaranti Nandanti Tava Hetu Jana Ta Eva Pashyant Achirena Tavakam Bhava Pravaho Param Padam Bhujam. Those who are continuously hear, chant, and repeat that your transcendental activities, or who take pleasure in others doing, certainly see your lotus feet without delay, which alone can stop the repeated birth and death. Mm. So, what is the criteria, like when you have to judge our advancement in our spirituality? How much we are relishing these Krishna's pastimes? How much we are able to meditating on them? Hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities. So then then she appeals for more association of Krishna. She says, no, you might be thinking that now I have made this Pandavas to win the Kurukshetra war, and I have killed all their relatives, and there are no enemies for them. Then I don't have any purpose here, so I might be leaving. So he says, if you leave now, who will protect us? Like they like you we kill our main enemies, but the enemies have their relatives, their friends, and their sons, and they again will form up a team, and then they are going to attack us. Then Krishna may say, you have Arjuna, you have Bhima, and you have Yudhishthira to protect you. uh, and Kunti Maharani says, without you, all these people are like the senses without soul. Like even a person has very strong senses, but if without soul means he is dead. The senses of a dead person are inefficient. They cannot do anything. Mm. So Kunti Maharani is saying, without you on our side, all the strength of all the Pandavas and all our armies is like useless. Nobody can protect us. No, this is realized by Arjuna actually. Like Arjuna was single-handedly was able to fight Akshonis of armies at a time. But when Krishna left this planet, Arjuna went there. Arjuna went to see the Arjuna was there when Krishna left this planet, and then he was bringing all the queens of Krishna back to Hastinapur to give them protection. But in the midway, the Gopala, some cowherd men, they attacks the they attacks the Arjuna, and then steals away all the ladies under the protection of Arjuna. And Arjuna was not able to fight them off. He was trying to fight them, and he was defeated. Actually, it is the curse of, I think, Bhrugumuni. I think he says in the previous life of when the 16,000 wives of Krishna, not the principal wives, the 16,100 and 108 wives, among the 16,108 wives, 8 wives are the principal queens, and 16,100 are the princesses of which whom Baumasura has imprisoned for sacrificing them to Kali. So Krishna killed Baumasur, and when Krishna killed Baumasur, this princess does not have anywhere to go. So they requested Krishna to give them shelter, and so Krishna has to marry them. So when Arjuna was bringing them back, the Krishna only expanded himself as Gopabalas and then Gopakumaras, and then fought with Arjuna and then took them back. Like it is the curse of I think Bhrugumuni, who says that you will be told you will be kidnapped by the you will be kidnapped by some other man, like that. But when the I think in the last life, these princesses are the wives of 16th wives of Krishna were the Devatas or Apsaras. They actually offended Maharshi, and I think Ashtavakra yeah, Ashtavakra, and this Ashtavakra he cursed them that no, you will like actually sorry, the pastime is like when Ashtavakra came into the assembly of these no Devatas, these all heavenly ladies, they served Ashtavakra nicely. So Ashtavakra was very pleased with them, and he gave them the benediction. May Krishna be your husband. Like that, he gave a benediction to them. And after that puja is over, after the ceremony is over, Ashtavakra started going back. And when he walks, Ashtavakra has 8 twists in his body. So his walking was so funny that all these ladies were not able to control their laughter. So they laughed out loudly at this Muni, and this Ashtavakra Muni became a little bit upset, and then he actually cursed them. Okay, you will be robbed away from you from Krishna, even though you, after your marriage, like that. But when all these ladies came and begged forgiveness, then Ashtavakra Muni says that it will be your own husband who is going to rob you, like that. Okay, so Krishna only expanded as Gopabalas and fought with Arjuna and then took him back. So Arjuna's realization was only when Krishna was there on this planet, I was able to even defeat Lord Shiva. I was able to defeat even like Indra. I was able to defeat Akshonis of Sena single-handedly. But now I'm not able to defeat even the cowherd boys. So that is the position. So Kunti Maharani was actually, she is true here. She is saying, without you, all the strength of all the Pandavas and all my army is like hmm, senses without a soul. Means they are like dead senses. Okay. So then Krishna, after hearing all this glorious glorification from Kunti Maharani, he gently smiles, and then he moves forward. So he Krishna went to see Yudhishthir Maharaj, and then when Krishna went to see Yudhishthir Maharaj greeted him, and then and Krishna observed that Yudhishthir Maharaj was not very happy, and he was grieving at the death of his relatives and the Kurukshetra battle, and also after the battle, like that. And Yudhishthir Maharaj mentality was, just because of me, this much killing has happened. All my relatives, all my sons of many mothers and husbands of many wives have, were killed in this battle. Mm. And this is all only because of my greed. Mm. Because it is a nature of a devotee to see how, to see that, not to put blame on anybody. Yudhishthira Maharaj might have easily put the blame on Duryodhana, just because of this Duryodhana only. Everything, all this Kurukshetra war happened, and all the killing has happened. But the nature of a devotee is, he will never blame anybody. He will always see, he will always glorify others, and he will always see faults in himself. Mm. There is a nice pastime, like uh, in the in Mahabharat, when a situation comes, like where at that point of time Yudhishthira Maharaj and Duryodhana were the Yudhishthira Maharaj was the eldest son of the Pandavas, or Pandu Maharaj, and Duryodhana was the eldest son of Dhritarashtra. And when a question arises that who is going to be the prince, Dhritarashtra is right now the steward or the kingly in charge. Mm. Dhritarashtra was not the actually the king. He was only the kingly in charge. He was only taking care of the kingdom in the absence of Pandu Maharaj. Mm. So, but when Pandavas came back and Yudhishthira Maharaj was young enough, and question comes, who will be a right candidate for the to be prince? Mm. So when that question comes, then Bhishma Deva comes and says, "Let us test them. Whoever passes this test, then that person will be the prince." Okay, and he calls first Duryodhan and asks them, "Can you go out and see any person who is better than you in any respect?" And Duryodhan goes from morning until evening, and he searches all over the evening and in the night also, and then he doesn't find anyone who is better than him. And he comes next day morning to the kingdom in the assembly, and he declares that I found nobody who is well qualified or who is better than me in this entire kingdom. So then he calls Yudhishthira Maharaj the next day. Okay, and he says to Yudhishthira Maharaj, "You go out and find who is least qualified than you, who is inferior to you." Then Yudhishthira Maharaj goes out and looks all over the kingdom and also uh, and then the next morning he comes and he says, "I didn't find anybody who is lesser qualified than me." Means Yudhishthira Maharaj was able to see all the good qualities in every others. But in the case of Duryodhan, he was only able to see is everybody faults or mistakes or shortcomings of other person. So it is the nature of devotee that devotee sees only the positive side of any circumstance. So even though Yudhishthira Maharaj was not actually the main responsible person, like it is not, because if you see the Mahabharata also, Pandavas try their best. They says, okay, if you want our kingdom, you keep the kingdom. Just give us 5 villages for 5 of us, so that we are born in Kshatriya family, and by dharma we are supposed to be ruling. So if you want to keep the kingdom, you keep the kingdom. That's fine. You just give 5 villages to five of our Pandavas, and we will be satisfied, and there will be no war at all. And they sends Krishna as their ambassador or Krishna as their messenger. And further, Duryodhana says that I will not give even a small portion of land where you can place the tip of the pin. That was the response of Duryodhana. So, and due to this attitude, Duryodhana made the war inevitable. But still, Duryodhana, just for the sake of dharma, Yudhishthir and Arjuna, all the Pandavas fight their best and wins the war. And after the war, Yudhishthira Maharaj takes the entire blame that upon himself, and he was repenting that I am responsible for the killing of so many people. And when Yudhishthira Maharaj was repenting like that, like Krishna tries to pacify him, Vyasdev tries to pacify him, and many other saintly devotees or saintly personalities tries to pacify Yudhishthira Maharaj. But Yudhishthira Maharaj was not pacified or not uh, convinced about their explanation. Mm. It is said that it is the desire of Krishna that Yudhishthira Maharaj is not pacified by any of the persons. So and finally, Maharaj Yudhishthir, in order to uh, pacify Maharaj Yudhishthir, Krishna takes Maharaj Yudhishthir to Bhishma Dev. Mm. So actually, it is Krishna's plan to visit Bhishma Dev while Bhishma Dev is passing. Why Bhishma Dev was not like because we know that in the Kurukshetra war, what happened is when Bhishma Dev fell down, it was Uttarayan. Uttarayan means sun was in the southern hemisphere. Mm. So it is not the good time for some for like it is not a good time for the sages to leave the body. Mm. So the personalities who like Ichha Mrityu, like somebody who can decide their own death. Now there are some mystic yogis, they have that abilities like they can leave their body whenever they wanted, and they can stay alive when, how long ever they wanted. So that kind of facility, power or potency they have. So Bhishma Deva also has the benediction from his father, saying that he can live in this world as long as he wanted. So that's why in even the Kurukshetra war, he was so severely wounded by the arrows of Arjuna. Like it is said that entire of Bhishma Deva's body was, there is not even 1 inch gap without an arrow. So his body was so much pierced by the arrows of Arjuna. But still Bhishma Deva had retained his life to leave his body in the, sorry, in the Uttarayan, not Dakshinayan. So that was Dakshinayan. Now, like until Uttarayan comes, Bhishma Deva was living, like retained his life aids without leaving his body. So Krishna wanted to give his darshan to Bhishma Dev, and also wanted to glorify Bhishma Dev, and also wanted to show to the world how Bhishma Dev was a glorious person. How much learned he is. So even though Vyasdev, even Krishna also tried to convince Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was not convinced, he was not pacified. But when Bhishma Deva pacifies, and when Bhishma Deva gives him the knowledge, then Yudhishthir Maharaj is completely pacified. So this is also Krishna's arrangement, so that he will be, he can glorify Bhishma Deva like that. So in order to uh, and Yudhishthira Maharaj, when Krishna met Yudhishthira Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj was saying that I am responsible for these all killings, and uh, uh, and the sins of killing all these personalities cannot be removed by another, like killing animals, like how Yudhishthira Maharaj has already performed three Ashwamedha yajnas. In the Ashwamedha yajnas, what will happen? They will do the horse sacrifice. Means they will kill the horse. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, my sins cannot be contracted by killing the horses also. So what, when Krishna, when Yudhishthira Maharaj expresses his grief in front of Krishna, Krishna stopped himself from going back to Dwaraka. So there Prabhupada also mentions how Krishna is supremely independent. There is nobody who can control Krishna, but the devotees of Krishna can control even Krishna himself. So when Krishna was about to leave, Yudhishthira Maharaj stopped him. He said, I'm not what you call, uh, I'm not comfortable you leaving me right now. I'm feeling so much disturbed because of the anxiety, because of the sins that I have committed due to this war, because I have killed so many people. So in order to pacify Yudhishthira Maharaj, Krishna has to cancel his uh, journey, or return, or going back to Dwaraka. So he actually, it was also Krishna's intention that no, he take Yudhishthira Maharaj to Bhishma and be there for Bhishma Dev to actually to have last darshan, so that Bhishma Dev can have last darshan of Krishna, while Bhishma Dev leaving his body. So in the next chapter, next chapter will be the passing away of Bhishma Dev. So we'll end it here. If you have any questions or comments, we can take it from here regarding this chapter, chapter 8. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Any questions or comments?
నాకు ఒక చిన్న డౌట్ ఉంది. యాక్చువల్లీ అంటే అశ్వత్థామ కూడా యాక్చువల్లీ యుద్ధం మధ్యలోనే చనిపోతారు కదా ప్రభుజీ?
అశ్వత్థామ లేదే.
అంటే ఎప్పుడు మరి యుధిష్ఠిర్ మహారాజు అంటారు కదా, ఇది అశ్వత్థామ అతః కుంజరహ అని చెప్పి సమ్ వర్డ్ యూజ్ చేస్తారు కదా, అంటే అశ్వత్థామ నేమ్ ఉన్న ఎలిఫెంట్ చనిపోతుంది అని చెప్పి.
అది it is like actually like when Dronacharya was made commander in chief of the Kaurava army,
ఓకే.
the Dronacharya was fighting so ferociously, and there is no warrior in the Pandava side who can kill Dronacharya.
ఓకే.
So in order to control Ashwatthama, Dronacharya is so much attached to Ashwatthama. Like he is Dronacharya's son, right? Ashwatthama is the Dronacharya is the father of Ashwatthama. So just to say that, just to weaken Dronacharya, or like if you are mentally weak, even if you have physical strength, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, yes, true.
So what they do, they plan like this Dronacharya cannot be counteracted by any weapon. So unless we tell unless we say something that about his son, then only we'll be able to defeat Ashwatthama, Dronacharya. So then and it is said that in Mahabharata, until that point of time, Yudhishthir Maharaj's chariot was not touching the ground because Yudhishthir was so dharmic person.
Yeah, yes, true.
So but when then Krishna told to Yudhishthir Maharaj, you go and say Ashwatthama Kunjara Hata, means like the elephant whose name is Ashwatthama is dead. Like no. So actually this when this plan was made by the Pandavas army, then Bhima shouts loudly, oh, Ashwatthama is killed, I kill Ashwatthama is killed, he shouts loudly, because Bhima goes and kills the name whose name is Ashwatthama, and Bhima kills that Ashwatthama elephant, and then he shouts, Ashwatthama is killed, Ashwatthama is killed. So when Bhima shouts this, then Dronacharya hears that and he says, this Ashwatthama, my son, is killed? No, this Bhima is a tricky person, I don't believe in him. He goes to Yudhishthir Maharaj and says, Yudhishthir Maharaj. Then Yudhishthir Maharaj, because Krishna said, Yudhishthir Maharaj also says, Ashwatthama Atha Kunjara, means he says Ashwatthama is dead, Ashwatthama whose name is elephant, whose name is Ashwatthama is killed. But that portion Ashwatthama Hatha, he says like that, then Kunjaraha, that Kunjaraha he will show in a low voice.
Okay.
So actually when Yudhishthira Maharaj refused the what Krishna's instruction, Krishna says, when Dronacharya asks you, you tell that Ashwatthama is killed. And immediately Yudhishthira Maharaj says, I cannot tell lies because it is against dharma, right?
Yeah, yes, true.
So until that point of time, Yudhishthira Maharaj's chariot was not touching ground. As soon as he disobeyed the order of Krishna, it started touching the ground. But some outside persons, what they say, because Yudhishthira Maharaj lied, then only it started touching the ground. So actually what he said, dharma is nothing but whatever is Bhagavan says. Dharmantu sakshat bhagavatranitam. Whatever Krishna says, whatever spiritual master says, that is dharma.
Okay.
So Dharmaraj means he was following dharma, but he disobeyed. He was not willing to follow the orders of Krishna, who is personification of dharma. That's why Yudhishthira Maharaj's chariot started touching ground. No? Like this is not the main point, but I'm also mentioning that point. Okay.
Yeah.
Ashwatthama is not killed. Actually, it is said that there are few Chiranjeevis, no? Hanuman, Ashwatthama, and Markandeya Rishi. There are 6 or 7 Chiranjeevis are there.
Okay.
It is said that they are still living somewhere in this material world.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, actually after this episode, Krishna cursed them, Ashwatthama, that he will be suffering many lifetimes without death, like that. No?
Okay.
And he has a long life. Ashwatthama it is said that he is not yet killed. So any more question, Mataji? Is clear, right?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji.
ప్రభుజీ మీరు అష్టవక్రముని గురించి చెప్పారు కదా.
Yes, Mataji.
అసలు ఆయన ఎందుకు అలా అయ్యారు అనేది
అష్టవక్ర ముని వాళ్ళు ఎందుకు రాయారనేసి. So actually Ashtavakra Muni is a Brahma realized soul from even when he is in the womb of our mother. And one time his father was doing some charity or sacrifice, I think something, and he was doing something wrong. So when Ashtavakra Muni sensed that something is going wrong, he started advising to his father from within the womb. So and this father was very potent person also, but he was doing wrong. Literally was doing wrong. When Ashtavakra Muni is a self-realized soul from within the womb, he's a great devotee of Krishna also. So then this sage gave curse to the child. You rascal, you didn't even come out, you are started advising me, let you be, all your limbs be Ashtavakras. Means your body get deformed with the eight twists. He cursed Ashtavakra Muni. So like he takes birth with his eight twists in his body. And when he walks, it will be so funny that there are many instances, great personalities offended Ashwakra Muni and got curses. But he's a great devotee of no. Like actually, in the next chapter, we'll come to know the knowledge of Bhishmadev. Bhishmadev actually approaches Ashtavakra Muni and gets all his education from Ashtavakra Muni. Means philosophy education, education regarding the dharma. The Bhishmadev gets education from Ashtavakra Muni also. He's a great devotee. He's a great person.
సో భాగవతంలో మనకి ఫ్యూచర్ లో అష్టవక్రముని స్టోరీ కూడా వస్తుందా ప్రభు?
No, Bhagavatam is not. In Bhagavatam, the stories are mainly related to pure devotees of Krishna, or only devotion to Krishna.
మరి ఈయన స్టోరీ ఎక్కడ ఉంది ప్రభు అష్టవక్రమునిది?
Different Puranas, Mataji.
ఓకే ఓకే ప్రభు, థ్యాంక్ యూ ప్రభు.
Okay. So done that if you. Okay, we'll end it here.